Hello and welcome to the Bottom Shelf Podcast, episode number 6. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Mikey.
This is our comedy podcast about everything and nothing. Welcome. Thanks for listening. Mikey, what's up?
Nothing much, you know. Had a pretty quiet week. Didn't watch too much besides that Game of Thrones premiere, which I thought was, you know, a Game of Thrones premiere.
It was good, yeah.
It was super, like, it was a lot like last year's to me, where it was like, okay, yep, that started things, okay.
Well, that's like every first episode. They have to cover their bases.
I also wonder now, because when you think about it, there's 6 episodes this season?
Yeah. Or, yeah, right? That's what they said.
So I'm thinking about, like, normally in a season, when there's 5 episodes left, that's when you're like, oh, fucking shit's going down now. There's 5 episodes left. This is when things start to ramp up. But now how is that, like, arc gonna work? Is this season gonna be that different where it's like, oh yeah, stuff's kinda happening, and then big things happen, and then it'll end on a cliffhanger, obviously, but...
I guess if they only have 6 episodes, I would expect... Yeah, but see, the premiere was, an hour?
Yeah.
Which is usually, like, what every episode is?
Yeah, 50 minutes to 60, usually.
Yeah, I think that now if there's only 6 episodes, they need to make the episodes longer, so more stuff will happen to progress in 6 episodes. Because if it plays out like all the other seasons, and I'm sitting there watching, and, like, minuscule things happen for 6 episodes, and then they take a break, I'm going to be like... Well, fuck off.
Nah, I assume big things, like, again, unless every actor and showrunner's talking out their ass for the last 6 months, being like, oh, this season, big stuff's happening, and then just nothing. Like, I don't know. It's nice to have it back. Something to watch every week again.
Yep.
I haven't been watching that much shows ongoing, besides My Hero Academia, which... is still the best, and I would say is one of the better modern anime series of just being an actual fun show. I wonder if it will go on and on and on like Naruto and stuff, and I'd almost be okay with it because I like the characters so much, and I'm like, I kind of don't want this to ever end.
Yeah, but like Naruto or whatever, it's like, 300
plus Shippuden. Plus they're doing a new one with his dumb son now, aren't they? Or is that just a movie?
Boruto.
I don't know.
No, I think they're doing a full series.
Yeah, it can never end. Like One Piece. Never end.
Never ends. But I would not want to watch a show that goes on for 300 plus episodes.
See, that's why it's nice just watching it as it goes. Because like, it's not like Naruto in that it's like 50 episode seasons. Yeah. It's still just like the first season's only 12. And then the second one is just 2 cours. So it's like 12 and 12. Mm-hmm. So it's on the second one right now. And it's just like, okay, there's no filler bullshit of like, them going shopping in town for an episode.
I fucking hate that shit. That's why I don't watch anime much anymore.
When they're clearly padding for time because they don't have enough manga material, and they're like, oh, guys, oh no, this villain's come. Oh, what's that? Oh, shoot. Oh, look at that. That's that guy. We gotta go get him. And then they just go off on like a 3-episode thing.
Yeah.
That's what I want more of. But yeah, other than that, haven't been playing much besides more Stormblood now. Getting back into that a bit.
Yep.
I know you've been playing Overwatch, right?
I've been back on the Overwatch ranked competitive grind.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's a fucking grind.
Yeah, for me, just Overwatch, like most like competitive multiplayer games like that, I'm so on and off on. Like, I'll play it nonstop for like a week. And then be like, okay.
I've had my fill for the next 3 months.
I think the progression system in Overwatch 2 just really hurts it for me if I fucking hate loot boxes. And it just annoys... Like, this was a semi-topic that I was going to do. I don't know if it's big enough. It's just loot boxes in general in games and how we feel about them. But yeah, it always just bums me out being like, well, cool. Got 4 sprays.
Yep.
That's nice.
I think at the beginning of the game it's nice when you have nothing.
Exactly. Then you're like, it's new and exciting, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, skins. And then they just do the event things. I'm surprised they haven't started the Summer Games one.
Yeah.
I thought that was supposed to be happening soon.
Soon? I'm going to say, like, next week. They'll, like, show a trailer for it maybe this week sometime.
Oh, yeah, maybe they'll do that when they actually release Doomfist.
Yeah, I think their plan is to do Doomfist with Summer Games, but...
Will he get a shot putter's outfit?
I think people are saying he's getting a boxing one, so we'll just have a giant
cool
red boxing
awesome.
glove.
That would be good.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
He should have a giant glove on his fist and then a normal glove on his other hand.
Yeah, exactly.
that
Yeah,
would be
see,
great.
it'll be sweet.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's just been a slow, nice week.
Yeah.
But I also got to thinking the other day when I was walking around downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever just see someone walking by with a t-shirt that you're like, how in anybody's fucking mind do you think that is a good idea to wear
Out in public?
ever? Just anywhere.
Yeah.
In your home alone, you shouldn't be wearing this shirt. I forget what it even was. It was like a shirt with Kermit the Frog on it, and it said some fucking stupid thing like, you and me at your place, or something like that.
Jesus
And I was just like, oh, God, what is happening? Am I just not with it? Are these kids today just too drenched in meme culture to understand not to wear stupid fucking shirts?
Yeah. I'm thinking of like one where it would just be like some like topless chick on your shirt, and then and then at the bottom of the shirt just is like fuck.
That would be the best shirt.
It's like, I swear to God, I've seen a shirt that's almost exactly like that.
That's really funny.
And it's like, wow. Don't wear that? Fuck.
That's the best shirt. Or just any shirt that I remember in Kenny versus Spenny, I think. Kenny just in one episode wore a shirt that said fuck across it, like just the word fuck. And I was like, that's great. It's also got me thinking of, do you fucking hate as much as I do when you're just walking and then someone's like, hey, nice shirt, and then you look over and they're wearing the same shirt and you're like, yeah, and then just keep walking and you're like, what did that person hope to accomplish by shouting to you? Did they think you'd be like, oh shit, dude, we got the same shirt, let's be best friends, let's like hang out tonight, man? Like, what compels a man?
I think it's like the same mentality as like when you're riding on your motorcycle,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just like, you know, the wave at the ground, you wave at each other, kind of. You do like the what's up off the side of your bike.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's kind of the same thing where it's like, hey, nice shirt, and it's like, me and him are an exclusive club where we like the same thing so much that we will advertise it out in public.
We both went to Blue Notes and bought a sweater, or H&M or whatever. What are the odds that would happen? But yeah, I never get it. I'm like, motorcycles I get, because that's like, you're a cool dude.
Yeah.
You're riding your motorcycle. Or an asshole, depending how loud it is. But that's an entirely different conversation. But that's like, I can see that being an exclusive thing. Where shirts, I'm just like, dude, like, it's a shirt.
Yeah, you also paid $20 for this shirt. Good on you.
Even if it was like high fashion shit, I would get it. If it was some expensive fucking like,
if someone had like a sweet
Giorgio Armani, like if I was wearing some glasses and he was someone was like, hey man, nice, I get that you spent like $500 on those frames, and I'd be like,
but
no,
he wouldn't even have to say words. He could just like look at you and tap on the side of his glasses, and then you'd give him like the thumbs up.
Yeah, that would be better. Maybe I just don't understand people. Maybe that's the problem. Social interactions are just with random people like that. Like if you're gonna stop me, I could even get it if it was a shirt with like a band on it, and someone was like, "Oh, I love that band," because then you have like a connection.
And you're like, "Yeah, me too."
Whereas
man.
when I'm wearing a plain gray hoodie, and someone's like, oh, "Nice sweater,"
gee. I think if it's something like that, if it's like I had a black tee on and I was walking down the street and some guy had a black tee on, he's like, "Sick shirt, dude," and then like walked by, I'd be like, Fuck. Like,
wow, we both wore black t-shirts today.
yeah.
Who does that? Okay, we want to move on to the first segment?
Yeah, segment number 1, topics. Who wants to go first this week? This is where Mikey and I just give each other a topic to talk about, something that's been on our mind, something we'd like the opinion on from one another.
I'll do yours.
Mine? Sure. So, with Castlevania coming out, I was like, this is a pretty sweet adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good job. Everything works out. The animation at some points is a little iffy, but who cares?
Yep.
It's a good, just different telling of a game now to series. So I was gonna ask you, what are some more adaptations you would like to see, like book to film or film to game or game to film to series to book to take her away?
I immediately thought of Overwatch. And I think Overwatch would make a fantastic animated series.
Yeah.
Whether that be in the style of Castlevania like 2D, or if they went a more 3D route, obviously they couldn't maintain the quality of their shorts throughout a series because that's probably expensive as fuck.
Yeah, their shorts are amazing.
But like even just a Star Wars Rebels-esque 3D animation one would be fine. I think 2D would be better, like that Doomfish short they just put out.
Yeah.
Like that faux anime style.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I think the characters in Overwatch are so well designed that they can transcend into other mediums really well and different styles. Like their basic designs and skins are so perfectly colored and like shaped that you can really take them across anything.
Their personalities too, like it's not like every character in that game has the same kind of personality.
Yeah,
they've all
and
got unique
the amount of backstory
yeah
in Overwatch with
crazy.
No real way to get that told to you in a good way.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of like videos on YouTube and stuff of people like piecing together stuff and speculating on how all the lore fits together and where it goes, and like, oh yeah, this goes here and this is how this happened, and little bits from these shorts that they put out, we can put this at whatever. But it's like, I'd like a nice streamlined version of telling all the backstories of these characters. And
yeah, that'd be nice. Or it usually comes down to like people speculating and then going to Twitter and being like,
yeah,
is this right? Is this true? And they're like, yeah. Or no, hell no.
But yeah, I think Overwatch would make a really good animated series of
I would
kind.
love it as an animated series.
Like even when they were supposed to be doing that graphic novel, I was like, that would be cool too.
Yeah,
like,
that was gonna be so good. Why'd it get canceled? Do you remember?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Oh,
Either way, it got canceled. Shitty.
But yeah, another one I got that will never happen, but I want to happen really bad, is a Kingdom Hearts anime series. Because
about what?
Just mainly to tell the stories of the games in a way that makes sense. Because I think the story has gotten so convoluted and bogged down by not just having mainline entries and having all these spin-offs every like 5 years, that it's become so convoluted and like hard to understand for anyone who hasn't played past 2.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah, that having like a nice straightforward series that tells you all the main points and like is like, hey, we'll cut down on this bullshit and just tell this in a more streamlined, easy to understand way. But it will never happen because there's so much copyright bullshit with all the Disney characters and all that. It would end up being some Disney XD show and not be good.
Horrible animation,
Yeah.
so like low budget.
Yeah. That'd be so cool, but it'll never happen. Sadly. Do you have any that you
I've mentioned it before, but Transmetropolitan has to happen. It would be so sick.
Do you think that would be live action?
It would definitely be live action. I would kill for a live action Transmetro.
Well, if Warren Ellis is writing Castlevania for Netflix, maybe he could
Yeah,
write
see,
Transmetro.
Bring it on. Like, even if that show had filler, which, like, I feel like in Transmetropolitan books 1 through 4 out of 10 or 9, I don't know, can't remember. Books 1 through 4 is like nothing fucking happens.
Oh, okay.
For half the series, it's just all hilarious, weird world building, and that's it. So it's like, man, just I don't give a shit. You can do any single story in that world, and it would be like weird and funny as long as Spider, the main character, is a part of it.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they'd try to make that a movie and ruin it. Like,
a movie wouldn't work. You couldn't do it.
I remember a similar thing. I don't know if it's still happening with Why the Last Man.
I thought that was a series.
Okay, because I know they were gonna make it a movie, and then I remember seeing something not too long ago that it's a series now, and it's like that would work, maybe, probably. It's not too crazy of a thing.
I still haven't read it yet.
Oh, it's so good. I still haven't read Transmetro. I need to read that.
Yeah, it's awesome. If I had it here, I'd let you borrow it, but it's all the way back home.
Man. And really, as far as other adaptations of, like, movies to games and stuff, I started thinking of, like, at first, I was like, man, I miss stupid, shitty movie tie-in games. Because, every now and then there'd be a Diamond in the Rough. There'd be a Spider-Man 2. There'd be an X-Men Origins Wolverine. There'd be a... I don't know what else.
There would be Avatar the game.
That classic. But yeah, I was thinking about it and I was like, it was always, like, funny to see all these stupid fucking movie games happen. But does anyone miss them, really? I mean, there's the occasional movie where I'm like, oh, that'd be a cool game, but I think they're just trying to go the Arkham Asylum route of just making, like, what they're doing with Spider-Man now.
Right.
Of making their own story in a game so they're not tied down to any movie bullshit that they have to be like, okay, let's add all these stupid villains in that aren't in the movie. I
feel like it's almost... like a playground for them to use things that won't be used at all in the movies.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Negative. Yeah, that guy's never going to show up in any movie.
But clearly more board games need to be made into movies.
Right.
Like my board game verse.
Board game verse can be...
It can be a reality. Fruition. Finally. They're already making that stupid... Did Ouija 2 come out? Yeah, it did. Because Annabelle 2's coming out now. There's too many shitty horror movie sequels coming.
Why?
Yeah, but for me, like, a lot of adaptations, I'm just like... It's a weird thing, because people always complain about remakes or adaptations when their favorite movie's probably an adaptation. Because everything is, like, it's so... rare that something is 100% original.
Yeah.
Like every Stanley Kubrick movie is an adaptation, pretty much.
Yeah? Is 2001 not?
It is.
It is?
I'm pretty sure. Like, it's madness. Everything has to be. And yeah, I'd love for that great Castlevania series to be adapted into a video game. I'd love that.
Bring it back. What is it? A return to form, please.
Just make another, classic Ega style Castlevania. Because Bloodstained looks pretty fucking meh to me.
Well.
Because pixel art's dead with big publishers because it's expensive. Yet indie studios do it all the time.
Yeah. It's because they care. I don't know.
And like I said last week, I'd love like a Metal Gear series like the Castlevania one of just telling the story of Metal Gear 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I don't need the solids. Those are already movie enough as it is.
Yeah.
No one
I can watch
that.
The 12 hours worth of cutscenes.
Plus, for those, I find making them a movie would completely take away the point, or a series, because the fun of them is that it's a game and messes with so many video game tropes and like mentions so many video game things that add to the humor, whereas if you made it a series, it's like, would they when you go down into when you have to switch discs in Metal Gear Solid 1, would they adapt it and be like, "What, Snake? Time to change the episode." Would they like try to break the fourth wall like that? No, it would just be it would lose its charm, I think.
That'd be stupid.
Especially without Kojima.
Oh yeah, well, we can forget about that then.
They'd make it super serious. David Hayter wouldn't be Snake.
And then he'd be mad that he wasn't Snake again. Cry on Twitter.
Just bitch about it for another 5 years.
Fuck. David Hayter. So stupid.
Hey, he was that museum guard or Statue of Liberty guard in X-Men.
Really?
And he wrote X-Men.
Oh yeah, I know he wrote the screenplay for Watchmen too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's bad because
Watchmen missed the point.
Watchmen has some nice visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's not a lot. Like, no books came to mind of like stuff I want to be made into movies immediately.
Yeah.
A lot's just like, hey, maybe like I thought of House of Leaves and how that could never be anything but a book.
That's another thing I'm thinking of. Is there something that you would like kind of like to see, but there's no way in hell they could pull it off?
Yeah, there's no possible way it
House
could be
Leaves.
Anything but a book. Video game translations are like always bad. Like, I can't think of many video games that I'd be like, oh man, yeah, make a movie out of that.
I know one. I think you've said it before that Nier Automata is something that, or Automata, would never ever be able to be made into anything else because it's very like what a video game can do.
Yeah.
And I'd say like the last 30 minutes, yes. The rest of it would probably be, you could do series.
Yeah. But yeah, like a lot of stuff just already is so close to movies and video games now. They're trying so hard to be movies that it's just blurring the lines, and it's like, this sucks.
Fuck you, David Cage. Just go make movies.
Exactly. Man.
All right, we'll move on to topic number 2.
Yeah, okay. So my topic this week was to ask you the question of times that you have been like so scared that you actually had to stop what you're doing or like kept you up at night, and like, you know, times that happened to you as a kid or throughout your life. And if there was any times more recently that it happened, you know, from a movie, a dream, games, stuff like that. So yeah, please tell us times that you almost wet yourself.
Oh, shit my pants in fear. We'll take it back. We'll go back right away. I think movies, especially when I was younger, there's obviously those like scary movies, whatever, that are clearly not meant for the age that you're watching them.
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I watched in like 6th grade maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Man, I was scared of Buffalo Bill.
Well, yeah.
Fuck, he was terrifying. I remember someone was watching it in like the living room, and I sat down to watch it with them. And then I ended up like hiding behind like their arm, covering my face. Like, why?
Yep.
Why? Fuck, he's scary. I mentioned it before too on the podcast. Innkeepers.
Oh yeah.
When I was watching by myself, I had to stop it to give myself a little breather. And then I went back to it, but Buffy too. We'll get, it's a very specific episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where they have their science project that they have to keep their egg alive.
That one?
Dude, this episode when the egg, she goes to bed, Buffy goes to bed, and the egg hatches when she's asleep, and the gross face hugger parasite thing comes out, and she's there, and she's like got her knife because it almost like latches onto her. Fuck, what does it do? Not latch onto her face. Like, it latches onto the back, and she like feels it and wakes up, and then like is on her bed with scissors. I'm pretty sure, and it's like crawling around and stuff.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I mustn't have been that young, to be honest. I don't know when that like aired, but I could not, like, anytime we had cats when I was growing up, So anytime like a cat would move in my bedroom, I would be up and I would be looking around for this fucking parasitic face hugger thing. And my girlfriend watched it recently, Buffy, for the first time, the whole series. And that episode came up. And now I see what that thing looks like. Yeah. And it is not scary in the least bit.
I thought you were going to say the Buffy one most people say is the guys that take their voices, the like suit Slenderman looking fucks that like come into their room and they steal all their voices and then they can't talk. And it's an awesome episode. But
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they're like the creepy guys that like have the weird like smile almost, and they're in like suits. And then they take their voices, and it's really funny because there's the one thing where Buffy's trying to say that they need to stake them, and she's like making this motion like a jerk off onto her face, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And she's like,
hilarious.
Oh, and you're like, but I was gonna say, while we're at really young stuff, I wanted to bring up when I was like 9 or 10, I was just walking because. So when you walk down the stairs of my parents' house, there's like you can see the TV before you get to the kitchen because there's like the living room off to the side. So then the TV's like right there and you can see it. So I was just walking down the stairs, you know, going to get into the kitchen to like ask my mom for food or something. And my dad was watching The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. And, like, I stopped for a second because there was dogs on screen.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, dogs. So I was just, like, standing at, like, the edge just watching. And then the dog started spewing tentacles out of it and killing all the other dogs. And eventually it led to when the dog, like, explodes open and has, like, all this shit coming out of it. And that, like, scarred me for years. God, it was horrible. Yeah. Now one of my favorite movies, but fuck, seeing that as a kid, like those effects,
so good.
Because like as a kid, you're like you can't fucking discern that from reality. Yeah, you're like, oh,
damn,
God.
That dog straight up sprouted tentacles and is killing things.
Yeah, that one always sticks out to me.
Yeah, I'm thinking we'll move away from like movies and stuff. I had one childhood nightmare reoccurring. I only remember a very specific part of it. Now, I mean, I probably, if you asked me a long time ago, I would have probably known the whole thing.
Yep.
But I remember I'm walking into like my breezeway or cold room, kind of like where we put our shoes and stuff. And it's set during my sister's birthday. And I walk out into the cold room and everything's fine. Like everyone's loving life on this birthday. And then I go to walk out of the door outside. My house is like a backwards L shaped. So picture I'm just walking out of where the corner is, you know, or no, sorry, where the sides meet in the middle of the L, and I'm walking out, and I look up to like the side of my house. We have like a larger window there that looks over the driveway, and I look up. And my sister and her friends are getting like torn apart by like bats. And it was the most fucked up, like horrifying thing. And then I go to like turn around and I notice like spiders are like large, like fist sized spiders are like coming down from the sky on their strings and they cover me and then I wake up. It was the most terrifying fucking nightmare ever. I still I still remember it pretty well, which is I don't know how many times it happened, but yeah.
See, I never had recurring dreams. I just had like the main dreams I would have that would terrify me were always regarding aliens and stuff. Because that always like scared me way more than spirits and ghosts and stuff, because that I can just be like, that clearly doesn't exist to me because I haven't like aliens. I believe more than that. And then it's like, so I would always have dreams where there would just be like similar to yours where everything would be normal and I'd walk outside and then there'd just be like a fucking UFO there and then it would start like beaming me up or whatever. And then I would just wake up like sweating and like, I've never woken up screaming, but I've been close to from a dream like that. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I woke up like sweating, like dry screaming, not like loud, but it was like a
yeah,
like that, like freaking the fuck out from it. So maybe it's like that thing where you just think it's a dream, but I was really abducted by aliens all those
actually
years.
Abducted. Shit.
Yeah, that's one of those things.
Call Tom DeLonge. He'll want to hear about it.
He will. He loves those aliens. They exist. That's why he wrote that song.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. It's funny waking up from like a dream. Not a dream, but it also scared the shit out of me. I woke up and like was sweating, was like panting really hard, and I went to the bathroom and like my head was spinning. I remember like going to the bathroom and like holding on to the sink and like looking in the mirror, and I swear to God, I could hear like cannons firing off in like the background, like in my backyard, and it was so loud, and then it like just randomly stopped. It was the weirdest thing.
See, I was gonna say, I'm wondering if when you're a kid, you're more susceptible to weird, like, not sleep paralysis, but like a sleep paralysis where you wake up still in a dream state and you can like see dream stuff. Because there were times when I was younger where I swear I would see things. Like the one time, but I don't remember like the context of it. Is like I swear I saw like a fucking person in like my sister's room the one time, and then like double taked, and there's always fucking like nothing. And then like another time when it looked like fucking huge, you know how Dracula looked in Van Helsing, like gross giant bat creature.
Yeah.
Like the silhouette of something like that, like fly off one of my barns at my parents' place. Like seeing stuff like that where it's like it clearly did not happen, but it's like I'm wondering if there's some weird thing where when you, if as a kid you're more susceptible to weird dream stuff when you're awake.
Yeah, like when you're half asleep. Like as you wake up, your dream still kind of plays holographic image basically in front of you until your brain kind of kicks in that you're not sleeping anymore. That would make sense because those fucking cannons, I swear, they were so loud.
Which also, sleep paralysis is the most terrifying idea in the world to me.
So scary.
If I woke up with someone like on some fucked up thing like crawling onto me and like pressing down on my chest, I would have a goddamn heart attack.
Yeah.
I don't know how people deal with that, but you know.
Isn't it like you're not supposed to wake people up either?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's terrifying. Yeah. Fuck that.
Well, it's like just waking up and not being able to move would be the worst. And then
add on top of that a spooky demon man pressing down on your chest.
The one in I think Japan is the worst because it's like a creepy girl that comes over you holding like a lantern, because it's like it depends on culture of what that culture is afraid of and like what you would dream more of what you're scared of. That's why in America that's what they attribute to alien abductions, because it can make you feel like you're floating too. So yeah. But also before we move on to like more like, because I know we have some game stuff, I wanted to bring up one movie which is not scary at all, but as a kid, again, I would have been like 10, 11 when this came out, probably. It's just Jeepers Creepers 2.
Oh, Jeepers Creepers
2.
Oh.
So the one where it's super apparent that the director likes little boys, teenage boys.
What?
He was arrested for, molesting boys. And all the teenage boys in that movie are always shirtless.
Okay, go on about your.
That's what scared me now. I was scared the director was gonna come get me in my sleep.
I would be.
No, but there's the first scene when their bus breaks down, and the creeper, whatever the fuck he's called, attacks their bus, and like he puts his head down behind the back windshield and is like looking at all of them and like licking his lips and shit, and it's like his creepy face, and like
turns out it was just the director
eyeing up the boys. It's like the director's like, no, I'll handle this. I'll be the creep. Licking his lips and pointing out the ones he's gonna get, because that's what he does. And that movie terrified me so much that was like a time when I was like, I think that was the last time, because I was already getting too old, that I like slept in my parents' room because I was fucking terrified. And now watching Jeepers Creepers 2, I'm like, this movie's fucking terrible. Jeepers Creepers 1, solid.
Justin Long's in that, right?
Yeah. Jeepers Creepers 1 is great. They're making a new one, and I don't know why.
Why?
Because the director's out of jail, so he can now. And another movie, as when I was really young, I'm pretty sure it was like a VHS that you got in like either like a cereal box thing or like some dumb thing like that, you know, or like a Happy Meal, or they did VHS sometimes. It was an animated movie called Tiny the Seventh Brother, about this little puppy dog that falls out of the car when they're driving down the highway and gets lost in the wild, and this family of rabbits adopts him, which there's 6, so he's the 7th brother. And there's a scene when they're running out in a field, and then one of the rabbits is like, shit! There's a fucking hawk! And then
I'm sorry, a what? A fox?
A hawk.
Oh, a hawk.
And then they're all like freaking out, and then like they're all running, and then this one rabbit's like trailing behind.
this rabbit just, oh fuck.
But then it's like this shot of the hawk flying down, and his face, like his eyes start bulging out, and his claws start getting sharper and shit. And he doesn't get the rabbit. That for one terrified me, just him coming down. But then there's a scene when the rabbits are explaining to Tiny what the hawk is, and it's playing this song that makes it not scary, but the imagery terrified me, because the song's like, danger's all around them. And then there's this thing, because he's like explaining what the hawk's like, and it's the one like the tough rabbit, and he's standing there, and like the rabbit starts like transforming into like a fucked up mutant hawk rabbit hybrid thing, and he's like getting like sharp claws and like really big bulging eyes, and that fucking petrified me so much that I fucking destroyed that VHS tape. Like, it was a thing where I think I destroyed it and then threw it in my sister's closet to frame her. And then but my parents clearly knew that. They were like, no, you clearly did this.
You were like the only one who watched it. You clearly did this.
But yeah, that's just the movie things I wanted to say.
Yeah, I'd say now not much of that stuff scares me. No. I don't get nightmares much anymore. I haven't remembered like a dream in maybe, oh god, a long time.
It's the thing where you remember them right away and then they just fade.
Yeah,
like you wake up.
I wake up
and
I'd be like,
fucked.
Whoa, crazy dream. I couldn't tell you what happened in it. Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
like
yeah.
I'll have scary dreams, but never like to wake me up scared. I'll like have them and they'll be like, ah, but never like really bad.
Yeah, nowadays it's kind of just like games. Like I'd say the beginning of Outlast, the beginning of Resident Evil 7, beginning of Amnesia. But even then it's like, it's just the first
doesn't stick
hour
with you either.
It doesn't stick. You get used to it. It's like actually I think Amnesia I played for maybe 3 hours or so, and I stopped.
Yeah, I did too. I stopped at the invisible thing.
Yeah,
in the water.
Like invisible enemies are scary, but at the same time it just didn't control well.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, Outlast beginning, that's legitimately scary. But like back before, I have, and I'm sure you have too, when you and I would play games like together a lot at your house.
Yep.
I have the Resident Evil remake for GameCube, and we were maybe like 3/4 of the way through the game. Yep. And you were like, okay, I'll be right back. I gotta get piss or get a drink or something. I was like, okay, like I'll keep playing, whatever. So I unpause the game. I walk forward, not 2 steps with Jill, and the fucking, what are they, reptilian
Hunters,
ape men, hunters, crashes through the fucking hallway window. I immediately paused the fucking game, put the controller down, and I sat in the corner and I waited for Mikey to get back.
I remember that, just coming back in. You were in the corner and I was just like, what happened?
I was like, fucking scary hunter, man, just jumped through.
Oh, yeah, the other one like that was when we were playing through Resident Evil 4. I don't remember if it was before or after that. But we were like looking at a guide in Nintendo Power the entire time. And we like looked ahead and saw the regenerators, just images of them. And we were like,
scary.
Fuck that, dude. I do not want to fucking do that part. Because we were like switching on and off like every like however long. So we were like getting to that point where like, it's after this hallway. I'm not fucking doing it. You do it. No. And we were like arguing about it. Like, no, you do it. And then finally one of us, I don't remember who, was like, fine, I'll do it. And we took like 2 steps forward and a man came smashing out of a vending machine on fire. And we were just like, and like just immediately stopped it.
Fuck.
And we're like, well, fuck this.
We would like, I think it's funny because I think it was me because I would like slowly inch forward. It was like the longest you could take playing a game or getting through an area in the game. I was doing that. Oh man, yeah, that was terrifying.
Yeah, those good old Resident Evil memories when things actually startled me a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, nothing now. Like, it's been a while since a movie or anything has kept me up at night. I think the last thing that really did was either Paranormal Activity, the first one.
Yeah.
Because living in my parents' old house, it creaks a lot and makes noises. And it's not a great movie, but The Fourth Kind with Mila
the
Jovovich.
Aliens one, right?
What?
Aliens?
Yeah. Again, Aliens scare the shit out of me. That movie fucking terrified me.
Yeah, Mila Jovovich is pretty scary.
And that was the thing when they were like, it's all real. And it's like, no, it's fucking not. Fuck off. Dude.
Yeah,
like,
don't do that. You bastards. I'm going to end real quick on this one because we've been talking about kind of like media and dreams. But I'm going to go straight into like a life thing that happened where I was scared. In the hometown, New Dundee, Ontario, there's the dam. And it was at the end of winter, and I'm with my friend Craig. And we were sliding on the ice. Actually, sorry, I was sliding on the ice like an idiot. And I would run from the bank. It's like surrounded by a forest. I would run from the bank of the forest and see how far I could slide on this ice at the end of winter. And then so I'd slide so far, and I kind of like tap with my foot to see if it was still sturdy. And I'd slide even farther, tap with my foot, and I slid so far one time, decided to tap with my fucking foot, and I fell through the ice, and I was so scared. And then Craig sprints, and it was like fucking badass. This is like the 5th grade, but it was still badass. He like sprints, slides on one leg, gets up, which is pretty reckless. I mean, he could have fell through too, but who cares? And then he grabs me, pulls me out, and I was scared of falling through, sure, but I was more scared of walking back home and just the scorn of my mom. Like, I knew she was going to kill me. So I said this. I said, I was playing on the bank and I slipped in. She bought it.
She'll listen to this and be like, that little fuck. He lied to me.
Yeah.
Calls you up. She's like, oh, yeah, you thought you'd get away with it, huh? See about that.
You thought you're going to come home to a nice house in the summer to visit? I don't think so.
I'm going to work you to the bone.
Okay, we'll move on to segment number 2. It writes itself. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the Bottom Shelf Podcast. We're going to begin segment number 2. It writes itself. This is where I pitch, or me and Mikey pitch, our movie ideas to the top dogs of Hollywood. I generate a random genre and actor name for him, and him for me, and then we go from there. Mikey, are you ready?
I was born ready.
This is the reason you were born.
Yep, for this pitch right now.
Do you want actor or genre first?
Actor.
Actor first. Aaron Paul in Spinning the Wheel. Aaron Paul in a Prison Break film.
Okay, that's actually okay. So, Aaron Paul, typecast. He was a drug dealer.
Okay.
Dealt everything you could fucking think of. PCP, goddamn cocaine, weed, everything. Run the gamut. Fucking dealt weapons too.
Cool.
He dealt it all.
He's a cool guy.
His name was Jimmy.
Nice.
Skinny Jimmy. And he was he was the go-to guy for the hookups until he got busted by an undercover cop that was buying stuff off of him. So we open on the line of cells, cut into his cell. He's on the toilet. His roommate's watching him. Roommate played by, what's Kick-Ass's name? That guy.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is in there with him, and he has his like stupid dumbass looking hair that he has with like the shaved sides and his stupid like blondish puff on top. Oh. Okay, yeah, okay.
His name is Scott's.
Yep.
Scott's.
Scott's.
Because that's his last name, but they just call him Scott's.
Right.
So, actually, no, they call him Scott's because he killed two guys named Scott in the same thing. So they call him Scott's.
Nice.
So Scott's and Skinny Jimmy. Skinny Jimmy's just like, man, fucking this sucks. I hate having to. You watch me take a shit every day, and he's like, well, I like it. And he's like, God, man, I was thinking, we got some friends in here. I think we can make a break. And he's like, yeah, how do you think that? And he's like, well, I've been digging for the last 10 years. He's been in here for 10 years.
Okay.
He was busted when he was in high school. So he was dealing weapons, ecstasy, when he was like 16.
Holy Christ.
I don't know how old Aaron Paul is, but he's playing
probably.
a 26-year-old.
Yeah,
So,
well, he could do it.
he's been digging secretly under a tile that, like a few tiles, like he removed out, like Count of Monte Cristo style.
Nice.
It's a modern retelling almost of Count of Monte Cristo. Aaron Taylor Johnson is an old man. Actually, no, the person in the cell next to them that can like talk to them and they like meet up with when they get recreational time is an old ass man. It's a guy from Game of Thrones that was in
The Onion Knight.
No,
Davos? No.
The white bearded stupid guy in King's Landing.
Oh yeah. Pycelle.
Yeah. What was he in? He was in some old ass movie. I think it was a Bond one, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah. So he's there. He's like, oh, you're making a breakout, huh? Well, I can. And he has a heart attack and dies.
Screen time 30 seconds.
Aaron Paul's like, oh no, Grandpa Joe.
Okay,
Shit, he's been here for 50 years and he just fucking died when we were going to make our breakout. It's pretty much the boys get together. They fucking start planning behind the backs of the guards. The guards are like, just fucking not really caring, like sitting there in the like outside area, like, hey, watch yourself. And then Aaron Paul's like, and they're like fucking making little sketches on toilet paper and stuff of trying to like plan out their escape route. So the day comes. Him, Scott's, Michael Michelson, played by Michael B. Jordan.
Nice.
And Michael B. Jordan playing Michael Michelson.
Michael.
And we need a big guy.
Like a fat dude or a jacked dude?
Either.
You get like, so Seth Rogen gets super jacked for this role, but he's also still kind of chubby.
Okay. So he's like Vin Diesel jacked.
Yeah.
Like chubby jacked. He's their muscle. So like he's like standing and watch as they're getting ready. And then they all start going down through the tunnel. But his name is
John, Big Tony.
Big
or Big Ben.
Yeah, Big Ben. Because he murdered 50 people at Big Ben.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
With his bare hands.
You're rooting for these guys in this movie, but they're all fucked up.
But see, they all have families.
Oh, of course.
With kids. They need to see them again. So they start going through. But Big Ben gets stuck halfway through. And he's like, oh, you gotta fucking get me out of here, guys.
You're fucking big.
And they're like, God, and they're trying to like pull him in the tunnel, like, but they can barely move because it's so tight. And then they're like, just suck that fucking gut in, Ben. And he's like, and then they finally get him through right as the guards are coming in. They're like, oh God, gas him out. And they throw some fucking gas grenades in there. So they're like crawling and like trying to get away from the gas, but it's just flooding and they're just like coughing, like fucking dying. And we'll say, Scott's passes out from the gas, and he was like second in line, so he's just like fucking flops like limp in front of Michaels, and Michaels is like, oh God damn it, Michael, he doesn't have a plural, God. So he starts like, I have to like push him through. He's trying and he can't get it, and then Ben comes up on, he's like, just pushes them all the way out the tunnel. And like bursts out of the ground screaming, like ah! And then the guards are like all surrounding them. They're like, "Okay, stay where you are." And then they're like, "Okay, what's the plan here?" And Ben was like, "I got this," and he just picks up Scott's and uses him as a human.
Oh my God.
So they're all like just trying to shoot at Ben, and he's just running at them using him as a shield, and just fucking starts like murdering them with single punches. So he like punches the first guard in the face and it just breaks his neck.
Right.
And the rest start like backing off as the other two are like running into the woods. And finally they're there, like they got to like the hideout location they planned. Like it's a small little area in the woods waiting for Ben. And then he finally like catches up, and they're like, "Oh, so you got them all?" He's like, "Oh yeah, every single guard in the place."
Every single guard.
They're like, "Oh, nice." So they're like, "Oh, did you take care of the sniper towers?" And he's like, "Oh, what?" And then his throat gets shot out. And he's like,
"So no rubber bullets in this prison."
They fucking moved on from that.
They were like, rubber bullets, fuck this, it's not working.
After the first guard was killed,
yep,
they'd use it. So then both Scott's is dead, seemingly, and Ben is now dead.
Right.
He's like holding his throat, like trying to breathe, and then they're like, "Oh God, no, man, we can get you out of this." And then his head just gets fucking blown off all over Michael. He's like, "Oh fuck, God!" And then they're like, "Okay, we gotta move. They run out. They escape. Get back to their families and stuff. They keep in touch. You know, they go on the lam. They move to Mexico. They like live in a village. They're like, oh, finally we escaped. Until Michael's at the park with his family.
Oh no.
And then he like turns away for a second to like talk to his friend, and then looks back and his kid's gone, and he's like, oh, what the fuck? So then
Lil Michael.
Like, oh God,
where are you?
Michael Jr. Oh no. Where Michael? And then, but no, he's gone. And then, so he like calls up, what the fuck was Skinny Jimmy?
Skinny Jimmy, yeah.
He calls up Skinny Jimmy. He's like, yo, Skin, I need some help. My kid went missing. I'd really appreciate if you could come help on the minute. He's like, what? My kid was taken too. It's like, no. And he's like, I don't know what's going on, man. Something's fucked up. It's like someone's out to get us. And he's like, but that's impossible. Like, everyone we knew is in jail, or is in the clink, and and everyone else we know is dead. Wait a minute. Ben never told us what happened to Scott's, and we know he has blood on his hands. And they're like, no, that's impossible. And then when he says it's impossible, he hears he's like, I'll call you back, Michael. And then He hangs up, or he doesn't hang up. He makes it look like he does, but it's still on the hook.
Yeah.
And then he hears Scott's like, "Thought you could just fucking leave me, huh? Well, guess what? Scott's lived, and I got 2 more Scotts to my name." And he's like, "How did you know my son's name was Scott?"
Oh my god.
It's like, "Oh, I had a hunch." And he's like, "If you do anything," he's like, "Oh, your son's long dead." He's fucking dead. He kills the kid like in front, like he's dead, and then he throws down the bag he has, and it's his son's body inside.
Oh, I thought you were saying head. I was gonna be, this is ridiculous.
No, it's like a garbage bag with just his kid's body. And he's like, "Oh God, no, Scott!" And he's like, "And I know your name's not Scott, but I'm willing to break a few rules." And just blows Aaron Paul's head off.
Oh.
But Michael heard all of this, so Michael's out for revenge now, because he's like, he knows his kid's alive because his name's not Scott, so
right.
He's like, okay, he's just keeping him somewhere, you know. And then he's like, where would he take him? Oh my god. And he's taking Michael Jr. to the government offices to change his name to Scott. so he can kill him. So it's like a big chase scene of like Michael rushing there, and he's like, "Oh God."
It's quick. Like the big chase scene of Michael rushing there, but then it just cuts to like Scott's in line with the kid, like, fuck, like, here's your number, sir. Thank you. He just sits down. It's like 30 minutes of him just sitting there like, come on.
Also, Scott's face is all like scarred up from rubber bullets hitting his face.
He looks ugly.
And then so the big, it comes in. Michael crashes in, and Scott is like, "Oh shit, everybody down!" And then I start shooting, and then Scott's accidentally like the kid hits him, and he slips and shoots a random guy, and then he's like, "Oh God, no!" And he runs to him, and he's like, "What's your name? What's your name?" And then he's like, "It's." He's like, "Yes." And then he's like, "Sebastian." He's like, "No!" And then he takes his gun and shoots himself in the head. Because he vowed never to kill a man not named Scott, because his father was named Scott and beat him. That was established earlier.
Right, okay.
But yeah, so then, sons reunite, and he's like, God. There was also a quick shot of Aaron Paul's wife coming home and finding him and her child dead. Right. And just, crying. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so happy ending for Michael's, not even the main character. But he gets a nice ending with his son, and it's called Break for Revenge.
Break for Revenge?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's it.
It's called Scottstober Day. Break for Revenge.
It's probably, actually, I don't know how long our gap was, but I don't know how long that ended up being. Came together at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was good.
Let's move on to yours now. Actor or genre first?
Hit me up with that genre first.
Spinning the wheel. An alien invasion historical film.
Oh, okay.
Starring Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig.
And you can always let me know if you need a location, relationship, word.
Okay. Kristen Wiig in an alien invasion historical film.
So it'll be like a alternate history.
Kristen Wiig, historical. Fuck. Yeah, give me like some just random 3 locations. Doesn't matter what they are. Just
Antique
name
store.
Antique store.
Ladies' restroom. Airlock. Monastery.
Oh shit.
Oh,
okay.
God.
Kristen Wiig plays that historical person that I don't know the name of, but she's the first woman into space.
Okay.
It starts off Kristen Wiig with her crew, and they're going to the moon, and her crew is
Valentina Tereshkova. So she's a Soviet. Kristen Wiig, known for her good Russian accent.
So she is Valentina Tereshkova?
Or she could be Sally Ride, who was the first woman to be on the moon.
Sure, she's Sally Ride because she's going to be on the moon.
It's American, so clearly.
Okay, so she's with a bunch of Americans. And her crew consists of Kristen Wiig, Liam Hemsworth,
what's that girl's name from Ghostbusters? Kate McKinnon.
Yep, they're comedy duo. And then one last gruff. He doesn't reprise his role, but it's weird. The guy from Armageddon, Russian space station guy, he's also in American Gods.
Oh.
Either way, that guy. They recruited a Russian because they were scared that the Russians were going to beat them.
So they get a Russian? Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, they're on their way to the moon, and
Peter Stormare?
What's that?
Peter Stormare?
Peter Stormare?
Guy from Until Dawn?
Oh, yeah, that's him. Yep. Anyway, so they're on their way to the moon, and everything's going well. And and they go, whatever. They get there. Peter's a little like, no one really likes him. They're like, why is there a fucking Russian on my goddamn space crew? And then, so they get to the moon, and they're just like, they're hooked up. They land, and they all get out, and like Kristen Wiig, tears streaming down her face. She's so proud, and their mission was to land on the moon and check one of like, they had a small like rover thing there. And then so her and Peter go out. That's them jumping on the moon, and they find their rover. It's not far. And Kate McKinnon and Liam are back in the shuttle thing.
Yep.
And then they look at their rover, and it's like damaged, and there's like moss all over it or whatever. It's like, moss? I didn't think anything grew on the moon. And then Peter's like, well, we need to get this back and sample it and see where it came from. And they get it, and they're like, yeah, it's good. They bring it back, and they're like, oh, NASA's like, time to get you home. And they come home, and then Peter's been like obsessing over it. He's like, everyone has. It's kind of like that shitty movie Life.
Oh yeah,
but fuck that. So they get back, and they're at NASA headquarters, and they're like, this is what we got, and the scientists are checking it out. And they're like, this is like anything we've ever seen. You found this on the moon? Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Yeah, we were up there. That's what we found. He's like, this is like any other ordinary moss on Earth. This isn't really special. And he just fucking tosses it in the trash. And like, what? God. What? And then he's like, yeah, your job here is done. And it's like this guy, he's like sexist. This scientist, yeah. He's like, you made it to the moon, and you had one job, was to check on the rover, and you thought you could like get in the good graces of us here at NASA by bringing something back. You're just a woman. and then they all leave, and Kristen Wiig feels like, fuck, like, we're done. This is it. It's over. My dreams. Everyone will say like, I made it to the moon and thought I had discovered something cool, but I didn't. And then at night in the garbage, the moss like starts like growing all over the garbage can. And then Kristen Wiig and Peter, actually no, Peter comes back in the night because he was like obsessed with it. Yep. So he's like, fuck it, man, I'll take it, I'll look at it. And it's like grown overnight, And he's like, weird. And then he like touches it and it sucks him into the garbage can.
What?
And then the garbage can like starts morphing, and Peter stands up.
God.
And it has taken the form of Russian Peter.
Is it just looking? Is it like just actually like body snatcher? Like it's him?
Yeah, it's like body snatcher. Yeah.
Fuck.
And then it like stands up, and it starts like practicing its like talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I am Peter. I am Peter. And then like the scientist walks in, and he's like, wow, Peter, what are you doing here? Or maybe since he's Russian, he's Pietre.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing here? I thought you went home. And he's like, just stares at him blankly for so long. He's like, hello, can you hear me? Earth to fucking Peter. And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. Sorry, I just had forgotten my notes. And he's like, okay, well, whatever. And he's like, I'm locking up here. You get out of here, and we'll see you tomorrow. And then everyone shows up to like NASA to like debrief their space mission. And then they're like, where's Peter? And it's like, I don't know. So then Liam Hemsworth is like, well, I know where he lives or whatever. Like, I'll go check on him. And he goes, and he's like, knocks on the door. And Peter opens. He's like, hey. He's like, hey, man, like, we're at the debriefing now. We got to get down there. He's like, sure. He's like, I just want to show you something. He's like, okay, sure. He just walks in, and the door closes. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts back to, like, Kate McKinnon and Kristen Wiig. They're like, those guys are just, they're so weird, you know. God, they're weird. And then they both walk in together, and they're, like, straight-faced, blank. And it's like, we're here. It's like, okay, good. Let's get this started. All right. What you found up there, you did a good job. But it seems the scientists down the lab, they're like, you brought back some useless shit. And then Peter's like, I don't know. I think it might be something else. And they're like, yeah, but it's in the garbage now. Like, it's gone.
It's gone. It's no getting that back.
Yeah. And then they find like Liam keeps like weird twitches.
Okay.
It's like almost like the alien is like having a hard time controlling like all these muscles and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So then he's like twitching weird, and Kristen Wiig's like, she just gets like this odd feeling. So she goes down to the lab and like asks the scientist like, okay, where's this fucking moss? Like, where's the garbage from yesterday? And he's like, wouldn't you believe it? Some crazy thief, garbage thief. AKA maybe the janitor. I don't know.
We don't have security cameras.
Yeah. In this high-tech facility, we don't have security cameras. And then she's like, well, that's fucking odd. So then she like talks to like Peter and Liam. It's like, have you guys been back? Like, did you check? Peter, I know you were pretty like adamant about keeping this thing. And then he's like, no, it's gone. And then like they leave and they come back, and she wants to like go back up into space. She loved it so much. And Kate McKinnon's acting weird now. And then like she like looks at Kate McKinnon. She's like, do you notice like a lot of people are actually acting strange around here? And she's like, no. And she looks at everyone else is staring at her body snatcher style, and she's like, what the hell? And then they're like, she's like, okay, like about my next mission into space, my next movement. And like the director's like, you're not going back up into space, I'm sorry, we've got other plans. And she's like, I want to push it further this time. The moon, fuck that, I want to go to Mars. And they're like, no, I think the moon is it's a good spot for us, we don't want to push further. And she's like, what the, we are on the cusp of something great here. We could go farther than any man has gone before. And he's like, I don't think so. And then this is why we haven't gone any further in space, is because NASA is now controlled by these Moss alien people. So it's like, and if we went further and we got better technology, they would be found out. Mm-hmm. So then Kristen Stewart overhears Kate McKinnon and Peter and Liam all in like this one room speaking in like, there's like parts where it's English and parts where it isn't. Oh. And it's like, they're going too far.
Why would they put the English in there?
Because the English is there is because they're having problem with like their vocals. Oh, okay. They can't like control what they want to speak in their own language, but they've been like trying to practice this English and get it down. So it's like the vocal cord. That's it. The human vocal cords aren't like structured well enough to like speak their language properly, so they have to alternate back and forth. Okay. And then she busts the door down and she's like, I knew it, something's wrong here. What's going on with you guys? And they're like, we've ascended. And then she's like, no, what? And he's like, the moss you found was the lifeblood of our race. And she's like well, teach me more about like what I found. And they're like, your mind could not comprehend. And she's like, I'm sorry, what? I didn't get that.
Oh, God.
And then has she ever been up? Look quickly if she's ever been up in space after that. Sally Ride.
Well, she could be now. It's alternate history. I don't think she ever encountered Moss people. Sally Ride.
Have you been up in space after that?
Her second space flight was 1984, but her first one was when?
Okay.
1982?
Okay, and then she goes up for her. They actually fucking body snatch her. And then
shit.
It like ends with her going on her second mission with a new crew of non-body snatched people. Mm-hmm. And like it could set up, they're like going, and it's like it could set up for her. That's what it is. They're like, Sally, where are we going? We've blown past the moon. And she's like, we're going somewhere else. And then they're like, why the fuck do you sound like that? And then it shows them like landing on this like mossy planet that has not been found yet. They're like, my God, where are we? And she's like, we're home. Cut to black. So in this alternate history, everyone's Moss people. They eventually take over.
I was gonna say, is there a scene where after she like hears them, or after they were like, the moss is our lifeblood, she runs to the guy who said it was ordinary moss, and she's like, you said it was fucking ordinary moss, and he's like, it turns out he was one of them the whole time.
As soon as he touched the moss, it like infected him.
I was gonna say, looking at pictures of Sally Ride,
is she
see this? She looks like Kristen Wiig could play her so easily.
She'll have the same smile too. She'll look at the camera and do that smile. Like, people, if you want to see that smile, just look up Sally Ride.
Well, I mean, they'll see. Well, not that face, because it'll be Kristen Wiig's face on that in the thumbnail. What's the title?
Oh, the title is Green Corruption, or no, that doesn't sound good.
Fly me to the moss.
Fly me to the moss. That's perfect because it centers around the moon a lot. It is Fly Me to the Moss.
Oh, God. I was going to say Fly Me to the moon, but they need to know the moss is
the moss is it's a key, man. It's Fly Me to the Moss.
Universe. Kristen Wiig. Wasn't she? She was in space movie.
Oh yeah, she was
Martian.
Yeah, in The Martian. Yeah.
She loves her space.
Yep. Thank you for the title, Mikey. Fly Me to the Moss.
Okay.
Alrighty, this has been the Bottom Shelf Podcast, episode 6. You can find us on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, SoundCloud, and now we're on iTunes.
Air
horn, beep,
Unless
beep,
you just
beep.
listen to it on iTunes, then you knew that.
Yeah, well,
But
now
still,
you can.
Yeah.
Oh, YouTube as well. SoundCloud, YouTube, and iTunes.
As long as SoundCloud's still in business, we'll still be on them.
Yeah. I think they said somewhere they'd be good past this year and into most of next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just saw it was like reportedly they had enough money for like I think the end of like this year.
This quarter, yeah. No, apparently like the CEO was like, "No, we have enough funding.
We
don't
laid
worry."
off enough people.
That's honestly what he said. Yeah.
Sucks, but they gotta compete with Spotify somehow.
Oh yeah, Spotify's the fucking king now.
Spotify have podcasts?
Spotify does have podcasts, but it's kind of hard to get on.
Oh, okay.
I've heard you have to be like
I need to be
going for a
popular.
while. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah. Any closing comments?
Closing comments. No.
Okay, yep. So yeah, that should do it for the podcast today. Thank you everyone for listening.
And we'll see you next time.
Yep. See ya.
Bye-bye.